But do you understand what? Read books, you're going to see that it's real. It's for visualization time. Read books, you're going to see that it's real. But do you understand why they hide it from you? Because it answers mysterious questions. It answers the fact that we have 12 planets. I feel they don't want y'all to know that shit. You see, Nibiru has a longer orbit, and its transition works every 3,600 years, and we are at that end of the cycle. But here's how it works. This is a spaceship. You can look at it as like a spaceship, but what I mean is this, right? It's its own, it's like our Earth is a spaceship. It's its own ship with its own moon, with its own solar system, sort of. It's that kind of thing, alright? So, we knew about this for the longest time, and I'm about to show you a video, right? And in this video, right, this video is about a CIA individual, right, who happened to do research with, Hubble Space Telescope, as well as, some high-tech means of space observatory, and happened to figure that there's a Jupiter-like planet heading towards ours, and it's been coming closer for years now. Some of us say they saw Nibiru in the sky. Some of us have seen two suns. I personally have looked at the sky once and showed you a video of me looking at the sun setting at the west and looking at another sun setting at the north pole. I can't tell you I understand the movement of how this planet is meant to take place, but I know it's meant to enter between somewhere Mars and Jupiter's orbit and transit into around Earth's own, as the case may be. But now they're making it obvious to y'all. Oh, we found a gas-like planet that's like Jupiter. Of course that's fucking Nibiru. What you talking about? Are you stupid? Nibiru is the nighttime of Mercury. It's like Mercury's other side of the case. That's how you can understand it. But I just heard that 2,600 cycle and it comes around. So why are they showing us they found gas-like planets? Here's something they also say. Right? I heard that when Nibiru really is at full effect, that we're gonna be, that something will happen here and our solar system will turn into a dual star system. And Nibiru will turn into another sun. So there's a possibility that we may have two hearts. Well, I read this. How does it make you feel? Does it make sense to you? We may have two hearts. Gonna be like from the people that is this Sirius? I think Sirius is a solar system with the two hearts where their life forms have two hearts. I think it's I've forgotten what they call it, by star or something. Anyways, I'm looking forward to this shit. Cause I'm getting ready, yo. I'm getting ready for shit to kick off any day. But I want to show you all this video. And hopefully this video answers some questions to your soul and it really makes you to understand shit that goes on.
Back in the 1950s, most people weren't aware of it, but there was a scientific Back in the 1950s, most people weren't aware of it, but there was a scientific storm in America all through the late 50s about this thing out there in space, because the astronomers were all watching it, and that was back when they weren't afraid to talk about it. It was in the science magazines. I mean, I had a subscription to like Popular Science, and hell, it was on the front cover of the magazine one day in like 1961, and I was really excited when I saw it, because here's this giant red planet on the horizon of the California coast, and a humongous tidal wave coming in towards the coast, and having grew up in the mountains of the Sierras, and this thing in the magazine, it said this tidal wave coming in was going to be at least 3 miles high, and I went and showed it to everybody in the house, and they laughed, and they said, look, it says right here, there's nothing to worry about, it won't be here for another 50 years. Hey, guess what? That 50 years has came and gone, and this baby's out there in the sky. They've been watching it. I watched it, and I can tell you, this thing has got so much trash coming around it. You know how we live in a solar system? We've got 9 planets and a big sun. This thing has got 7 planets and its own sun. But I believe that instead of having dirt on it like our planet does and water, I think this thing is just a big, bright reddish-orange iron ball because it's giving off all this red iron oxide dust out into the atmosphere. When we thought at first it was just a teeny little red speck of fuzzy red dust in the distance, but over the years as it went by and we watched it, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then finally about 08 we could see this thing like it was across the street, and we could see that it was a blazing hot ball of fire giving out sparkles of red iron oxide dust for thousands of miles in every direction, and you could see the planet circulating it. Now I'll tell you one thing that I really am nervous about. I think this thing's got a planet like ours circling it. This is its own solar system. We're about to have a solar system come through the middle of our solar system. This can't be good. But unfortunately, it looks as though that's what's going to happen. Hopefully nothing in this mess will hit us, even though it does say it will in the Bible, at least as it does in my Bible. It says we can expect all kinds of problems. We were looking at asteroids right close to this thing. There's asteroids that are floating around right near the, that are orbiting the main sun itself. These things appear to be about 500 miles across. And so these things appear to be about 500 miles across. And as you go back into the tail, you get into meteorites that go back for millions of miles in the tail. This thing looks like a giant red teardrop-shaped dust cloud. And you can see, once if you're able to see it up close like we did, you can see every speck out there. I guarantee you there's trillions of meteorites following this thing. Now, these CIA people that I know say that we're not going to be that close to it when it goes past us. They're saying that in order to attain breakaway speed, when it comes up around the backside of the sun, its speed will at least double, possibly more, which will put it here earlier than everybody is saying it will. And this thing will probably be about 20 million miles from us when it crosses in front of us. And then as soon as it flips us upside down, we're going to go into its debris-filled tail and be pelted with meteorites. And of course in the Bible it says they will talon 70 pounds. So if you've got 70-pound meteorites falling like hail, and I can guarantee you they will be falling like hail because there are that many in the tail of this thing. This thing has got a tail loaded with trash. I mean, it's incredible the amount of stuff that's in this thing's tail. And we're going to go right through that tail, and if it doesn't beat everything on the surface of the ground into a flat putty, I don't know what it'll take. I tell everybody, you better be at least 20, 30, 40, 50 feet on the ground and have either concrete or stone above you because it'll break through the roof or whatever you got if you don't. These CIA guys told me that this pole shift will probably happen from start to finish in around 28 minutes. That doesn't give you a lot of warning. When you see that thing out there in the sky, you're going to have to run as fast as you can to your underground facility because this is going to happen so fast. Now, see, here's another thing that we talk about. You've got this giant iron planet that they say is 47,000 miles across, getting ready to come up past us. And when it starts to approach us, it's going to start to have real serious effects.
So is it a planet or a failed star?
It's not a failed star. You know, I saw this thing up close. It did not look like a failed star. It looked just like our sun.
Right.
Okay. Would you call our sun a failed star?
No. Okay, well you had said planet. I wasn't sure if it was like a failed star, brown dwarf, or a full sun. So it's a full sun?
It looks to me like a miniature sun, just like the one we have. The only difference is our sun is giving off flames and stuff, and this one's doing the same thing as it, but it's giving off this red iron oxide cloud of dust around it, and until it got close, we couldn't even tell what was in there. We could see it was hot, and it looked like it was just a dull red when we were first able to discern it through the red cloud, but as it approached, it started to become more apparent that this thing is just orange hot. I mean, to tell how hot it is, I was told that they estimated between 5 and 10 million degrees, but I don't really know, if that's right or not. I mean, it's got to be pretty hot because it's sending all of this red iron oxide dust out into space around it,
right.
And it's got this enormous, and I mean enormous, at least 50 or 100,000 miles on each side of it, this red dust cloud that goes all the way around it. I know when we were watching it, as it started to make the upward swing to approach behind our sun, it was amazing. The red dust cloud settled down. Instead of being around, it started to settle down into a V, like wings, upside down wings.
Right.
And I thought, boy, I wonder if that's where the ancient Sumerians got the idea this thing had wings, because, centrifugal force is a funny thing. When it comes back up around the planet, when we see it in the sky, my guess is it's going to look like it's got wings, because centrifugal force is going to be pulling the red iron oxide dust and particles out to one side, and then as it starts to climb out and go away from us, listen, I was told that this thing's magnetic field is going to be so strong, anybody that does not have a padded lead helmet to wear will have their brain gutted for everything they ever knew, and they'll be a complete raving moron after this thing passes. They won't know, they'll be in their pants. They won't have a clue what's going on, because this thing will gut their brain. And I was reading a deal in my Bible. It says that after this happens, that nobody will care because they won't be able to remember it. Well, of course, I was told by somebody the reason that is because the electromagnetic field from this thing will be so strong. Because, see, as it comes up underneath of us, it's going to start and pull us toward it. And then, just like a pair of big magnets, all of a sudden it's going to lock onto us. And when it does, it's going to be like the Jolly Green Giant kicked the earth in the ass. It's going to send a jolt 500 to 1,000 foot high. This is what I'm told. 500 to 1,000 foot high shock waves all the way around planet Earth. They'll be so bad that in a lot of areas that don't have good solid soil, it'll fluff it so badly that you'll practically be like you're standing in quicksand. And that this thing's magnetic field will literally cut your brain of everything. And so you may want to give some thoughts to getting you some sheet lead, build you a little lead helmet to wear, like a little motorcycle helmet to protect your entire brain and the back of your neck, so that way this can't happen. Because, if these guys are right about this, and I'm pretty sure they are, because I know for a fact they know what they're talking about when they say stuff. And and it does sound reasonable to me, knowing what I do about electromagnetic energy, that this can happen.
Now, as you can see, right, it is what it is. Do I believe it? I do.
Something is happening in the heavens. There's a shifting. There's a shattering. Thing is happening in the heavens. There's a shifting. There's a shattering. Thing is happening in the heavens. There's a shifting. There's a shattering. There's something is going on. It looked like almost like a dimensional shift that was taking place. It's like watching a Star Wars movie and warp speed. Everything just went, just into a streak and then to a flash of light and boom.
All right, so during your speech yesterday, you had mentioned that you had a vision of the rapture.
Yeah.
Would you expand that?
Yeah, and I said in that message I was delivering, I was a little uncomfortable sharing that because I had never shared it publicly before, and as amazing as the whole story is, and I think even your audience would agree, by the time I'm finished, they're going to go, oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. And it would be unbelievable, except that, as you heard it is so witnessed and verified by people who were there when these things happened to me, and people were telling me things. You'll understand this as soon as I get into the story. But God finally I mean, I kind of kept it to myself for years until he kept verifying. It was like the Lord saying, Carl, you must share this. My people need to know this. I didn't give this to you for you to just sit around and bask in. So here's how it went. I had a dream in the middle of the night. Like the Apostle Paul says, I don't know if I was in the body or out of the body. All I know is I was caught up to paradise. Well, I'm not claiming it was equal to that, but I'm saying it was more than a dream somehow. Because to this day, all these years later, it is so fresh. I can still smell the smells. I can still see the sights. Yes, I can smell smells. I mean, it was unbelievable.